So welcome to the Lovefly podcast. Paul Tizard here, Fear of Flying coach. And today we welcome Lee Sherwin from the Lovefly Facebook group. Welcome, Lee.
Hi, you're right.
Yes, very good. Yeah, nice to meet you. I've been following some of your posts in the Facebook group and been curious to hear your story because, well, it sounds like it's been quite a journey, actually, doesn't it? Excuse the pun. So tell us a little bit about how you found us and, yeah, your fear of flying story and a little bit about yourself.
Okay, well, I used to fly a lot when I was younger. My mum and dad jetting around the place. And then as I got into me, probably, I don't know, late 20s, I really started getting a little bit uneasy. And that pretty quickly to my next 3 or 4 holidays, the holiday was ruined because I knew I'd got to come home and I'd got to get on a plane. The next to last holiday we were on, I actually wanted to drive back from Mallorca. I was thinking, how the heck do I get back from Mallorca? So while I'm there, I'm thinking, okay, can't do a plane.
Wow.
How do we get back from this island? That was the problem. If it was mainland Spain, I'd have probably drove. And then the last flight I took, we had a particularly bad flight. It all conspired against me. It was a turbulent flight, which there was some problems with people in the airport. There was delays, everything. The whole thing was horrendous, even if you're not bothered about flying. For me, that was the end.
Yeah.
That was 20 odd years ago. We tried a couple of times to go. One holiday I cancelled within 3 or 4 days of going. Just said, we can't go, I can't go. Because it's just building and building. So from then on, it's not been anywhere near a plane. And I've missed some big things. My beloved city had one of the few times in Europe in the history. And everybody went to Valencia. And I watched it in the local pub down Fancy No Plane. And, yeah, what a thing to miss out. So I'll never be there again. You know, Stoke City, aren't we, you know? But driving in the background, I've always, from when I was really young, wanted to go to Manhattan. Nowhere else in the world, not bothered. Manhattan, I wanted to go. And as you start getting in your 50s, you start thinking, whoa, son, if you don't go at some point, you ain't going. So that was a real driving thing. And my lad's 21st, he decided me and him should go to Manhattan, which I was over the moon with, but I was also petrified of. That was just before COVID. Now, at the time, Virgin were doing the Fear of Flying course from Manchester, which was a bit more, it was a face-to-face, you know, and then they take you on a plane. It's a different thing at the time. And I did that, and I thought, this is all right. This is all right. And it was basically the Lovefly course, but in person. Then COVID came. 2 weeks before we were due to fly, COVID came, and we were off. And that was 3 years ago. And the longer time's gone on, the harder for me to reboot that. And the start of this year, the wife said, listen, when are you taking JQO in Manhattan? And I came up with every excuse. Like, I think the dog's got to be shampooed this year, you know, everything. Anything that I didn't fancy.
Well, you know, the dog being shampooed is important, you know, let's be honest, you know.
Dog. and that was when I thought, I need to relook at this. So I went back to Virgin, and that's where I found the Lovefly. And then signed up, took the program. And the whole thing was just like, yeah, I'm ready. I can do this.
So you did the 30-day program, the self-coach thing.
The podcasts.
Yeah.
Just did it all, drummed it in. And really, I think, well, I don't know. It was good. It was just, it explains a lot of stuff. A lot of the stuff over my field really was not logical at all, you know. So I did the fly thing. That finished about 3 weeks before I went, and I just kept doing little top-ups. But I felt pretty good. I thought, I'm not going to push it. It's booked. I'm going. I can't do anything. And once I was, well, even before I was up there, but once it was up and settled, it was like, it was so good. I actually looked forward to the flight home, which is unbelievable. I was looking forward to getting on the plane on my Virgin Atlantic with my tally on, and you know, and loved everything. I loved every minute going out there, and I loved every minute coming back. It was brilliant.
So that's much amazing. Amazing.
Well, I sent my wife, because just me and my son went, I've sent my wife a text when we first got there. I said, this place is incredible. Get your passport refreshed. You're coming. Later in the year, me and you are coming back here. I'm always thinking of my next 6-hour flight.
Yeah.
What a difference. Well, it's a life changer, Paul. It really is, because had I not conquered this, you just get older and things don't happen, or things do happen. I mean, never gone to New York, and that would have been a lifelong regret not doing it. That was a real drive behind it. I had to do this. What I did. Yeah.
So it sounds like your son doing that trip was the big driver for you.
Well, it was, yeah, and there's so many things in life you kind of you look back and think, oh, if only. If only when I was single they'd done this, or if only when I got married we'd have been there. So many if onlys, and this was going to be one of them. If only I'd have just not been so really. Well, now it seems silly. At the time, it wasn't silly. It was real.
No.
And got on a plane and done it. And now I've done it. I'm ready for back, mate. If you're going to pay me a few £100 for this podcast, so I'm going to book up tonight.
So just sort of rewind a bit, because this is a great story. Okay, so what did you believe about flying that was stopping you take the flights then?
Well, it was the classic old, 2, 3, 4 miles up in the air doing 600 mile an hour in an atmosphere you can't live in a steel tube you can't get out of with no parachutes, it's full of fuel. Everything. It was everything about it. And I think underlying, I'm not a good passenger in the car. So I think it's that classic I'm not in control type of thing. And it is so, when you're scared of flying, it's so there's no I broke down so I'll pull on the hard shoulder, is there? Or there's no we've got a leak so I'll get in the life craft. It is like, wow, this is really serious. So it's really overcoming that. It's making the safety aspect. I'll tell you what was the big thing for me. And it's been the one thing whenever I've been a little watch where the captain that does the talk, I use him because he's been doing it for 30 years. He's still here. Yeah? He knows it inside and out. And the most important thing, he's got wife and kids. He would not be doing the job if he thought he wasn't going home for his kids. And that's been the most powerful of everything. Just thinking, when I look at the cabin crew, you've got family. You've got mums and dads or whatever it is. You ain't going to be doing this job if there was a risk that you aren't going home to that family. You just wouldn't do it. And that's been that's been really powerful at us.
So that was like the penny drop for you on that one, by the sound of it.
I'll tell you when it was, and I know you probably can't do it now, but on the Fear of Flying, while the captain was doing his talk, there was actually a picture of him with his kids in the garden, and it was just left there. And I just couldn't take my eyes off. So like, of course he's got kids. He's not a robot. He's got a family, and this is safe. And that was, I kept reverting to that image leading up, but it was always the worst part for him. Always the weeks before. It wasn't the flight. The flight was bad, but the weeks before I was getting such a lava over everything.
What sort of thing? What happened to you? Because so you're talking about anticipatory anxiety, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'd be short-tempered. I'd not be looking forward to it. I would be just not nice be around. And then the closer I got, the worse it got. I was pulling up at Manchester Airport and nearly combusting with a taxi driver. And he hadn't done a lot wrong, because I was so living on the edge.
Yeah. So you're kind of nerves,
afraid. Go and get on a plane. That was the second.
Yeah.
Completely shot. Yeah. And to the point where it was, I ain't doing that. I'm not going on a plane. So I would not go anywhere on a plane at all. I've been offered over to France to see customers and friends, and so I'll drive. But I'm not getting on a plane. The funny thing is, after the first course I did, I thought, right, okay, I've done that. I need to conquer this. I'll conquer this myself. Until I know I can go and get on a plane, that's when I've done it. So I booked myself in at East Midlands Airport, just down the road, because I'm in Stoke. But, okay, something nice and simple. I haven't got a passport. I haven't flown for so long, so it's got to be in the UK. I'll go to Edinburgh and back. That's my big test. So I plucked up the courage, booked a flight to Edinburgh, went over to Derby, and I'm standing there, and then I saw my plane. Oh man, it was one of them little propeller things. I was like, oh, you got. I never considered because it's a little short flight. It'd be one of them. I thought it'd be a normal big plane, you know.
Yeah,
So I stood there. I thought, listen, this really is it, and I did it, and it was fine. And if he got the
good
same
test.
pilot on going home to his family, and you know, but what a test that was, yeah.
Mm.
But
Sorry, so the pilots that
you what,
fly
mate?
those, that they have
Just
families
lost
as
your
well
friend.
then?
Correct, they do, and the stewardess has still got mum, husband, whatever it is, you know. So, and that's been something really powerful. And I've coupled that
Mm.
up with the technical section. I really enjoyed the technical section. I'm an engineer anyway,
Mm.
so everything, you know, the 1,500 feet. I said to Jake when we took off, says 1,500 feet, mate. We'll just have a little bit of a lull. And I didn't notice it that much as I have in the past, but I was ready for it, and the clunks and the bangs and the wheels going up, wheels coming down,
Yeah, yeah.
and it took away every bit of feet. I can't tell you if you knew me, and if I mean, it's been a standing joke with friends and family for years anyway. If you knew how petrified of flying I was,
Mm.
you would
Mm.
not believe that this is me here now. Honestly, it's incredible.
So if you were to put it in numbers,
Absolutely incredible.
how long would you say it's been in total, without giving away your age, obviously? How many years would you say you've been petrified of flying?
Oh, to be 25 years. It's got to be about 25 years. Well, I'm 55 now, so we got married in 95, 96. It could be around, yeah, it could be around the turns of the 2000s, about 2000, and then by 2005, 2004, there's no way. So
Mm.
that was it. So it is 20 years, 19 years since I've been on a
Wow,
plane.
wow. That's
Gotta be, must be, yeah.
so
Not
you've
good.
missed out on quite a lot of stuff, but now I guess you're making up for it.
Oh yeah, it'll be. I'm back to my pattern this year if I can, if I get any chance. You know, I'm definitely on the way back there. And I love the flight. And I tell you what, the crew were fantastic as well. Once I told them I'd done the love fly,
Mm.
they were. I didn't mean to tell them. It just I was standing there, I was stretching my legs, 'cause it's a long flight, and one of the members come up and he said, "Oh, are you all right?" And I said, "Yeah, yeah, yeah." I said, "Wow, these things have changed. It got like pink ambient lighting and all that." I said, "Wow, these things have changed since I was the last on one." He said, "Well, what
Yeah,
did you
they
have?"
you were the aircraft now are just phenomenal, aren't they? Yeah.
Really? It's 20 years. He says, "How come?" I told him. So I said, "I've been too scared." He said, "Well, you don't look scared." I said, "No, I'm loving it." I said, "I've done that love fly thing." And that was it. Then he was, "Come over here. This guy's done the course and he's loving it." So it was a picture with the crew. They made a real fuss. And just as I was getting off, the guy's name was Dale. It was Dale and Andy, the two lads looking after me. Put me a little Virgin cup over with a little note in, just saying, "Congratulations on being your feet of flying. So glad to see you've enjoyed it, Dale and Andy." And that was a real nice little personal touch. They didn't need you that. Yeah, that wasn't really Virgin. That was these two guys. Great lads.
Yeah.
Yes, I loved it. Absolutely loved it.
So this sounds phenomenal. I'm really curious. Obviously, you had your son as a reason, and
Yeah.
you had some sort of process thinking, I've got into my 50s and I've got to do it now, or do it now or never sort of thing. But I also wonder how you had the discipline to stick to that 30-day stuff and listen to the podcast. That's quite a time commitment, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, but I couldn't get out of it. That's the bottom line. I had to go. If this was business, I could possibly send one of the other lads at work or not even have the job. You know,
Mm.
it's a way out. But this is Jake's 21st. The wife's decided that's we're going. It's booked. And I have to go for me because if I don't go and do this now, I ain't never going to New York. I'm never going to go. So it's a real, I have to do it. I have to do it. So I had to do it because I couldn't get out of it because of
Yeah,
Jake, but I
yeah.
also had to do it because I couldn't get out of me because this was my last chance to go, my only
Mm.
chance. Because
Mm.
if I failed on this one, when I thought I'm never going because I'll never,
Yeah,
you know, I'll never be able to get out this again. So it was a big, it was an everything in the basket job, you know. This is going to be done. And it's not like it's a little flight to Spain, as it, you know, it's 6 hours or six and a
mm.
half hours,
Mm.
which I actually love. But you're thinking, well, it's a big, and you know, it was brilliant, absolutely brilliant. And so, but that was the discipline thing was I didn't want to miss a podcast. I didn't want to miss a video or a day on or making my notes because I didn't want to get to Heathrow and think, I'm nervous. I wanted
Yeah,
to say, right, you've done everything. Now, if you're nervous, it's because you're nervous. But I didn't want to get there and think I'm nervous. Oh, I wish I'd done day 22. Or you know, all right, get yourself fully armed and go and see how you go. And I had no nerves leaving. I had nerves about being nervous as we led up to it. So as we got closer to the day, I was thinking, okay, I've got to drive to Heathrow. That's 4 hours sitting in the car. Am I going to start my mind? Is my mind going to start going then thinking, oh man, I'm going on a plane? I was more nervous about being nervous. What when they shut the door and I can't go anywhere? What if I have a panic attack? You know, and so on. So that was my concern then. So it had moved away from the plane to what if I revert back to type and I am nervous when I'm on the plane. But then, like you say, relax in the seat and just keep flashing that picture of the pilot with his kids. You know, he's going home, they're going home, I'm comfy in my seat and making sure I'm relaxed and bringing all the postures in and the breathing. And once I started doing it, I didn't do it. It was quite bizarre. You know, it was almost because I'd said, right, you're going, mate, you're going, you're getting off the plane at the other end, whether you like it or not. That's the facts. It's going to take off, you're going to land, you're going to be in New York. And that was it. It had gone just like a flash. It was brilliant.
You are really good proof of having sort of a strong reason, and you know, like I can't get you're not giving yourself permission for any reason not to go, and that's like it. You found a really strong imperative. You're gonna like, I'm going, come what may, and you're going for it full on. I think that's very inspiring, and it's a very helpful message for people to think about, you know, and when they're looking at doing it themselves, you know.
Well, it is. I mean, as I said, if there was a way out of it, I'd have taken it, or I would have considered taking it. But because I decided there's no way out, you're going. You got to go. So get it sorted. You can either go happy or you can go sad. You know, you're going. So that was the drive. You know, it's like, oh man, I'm going. And it's like a massive motivation, and the motivation of having to go over it. I don't know. The program's unbelievably helpful, mate. I kept it on my phone. I didn't use it in the end, but I got it on the phone. I got it all filed away, all 30 days of videos, all ready to put on. Thinking, right, I know where everything is. I know what sections are. But because it was all there as a parachute and a backup, and I was fully ready, so I prepared my head. I prepared myself with all the technical stuff. I've got my pilot's picture. I've got my Lovefly on the phone. I'm ready. I didn't need him because I got him. If that makes sense, you know.
It does. Yeah,
having the parachute meant I didn't need the parachute. You know, even though that might be the wrong kind of terminology, I suppose. But that's it. The safety net was there, and because it was there, I didn't fall. Brilliant.
I love that. So, what about if you had to do a flight now for, say, work? You know, which you could get out of. What would you be?
Like I say, because
will that be the same thing for you? You still just do it, or would there be some hesitation?
No. It's done. It's done. I am. I'll fly anywhere for any reason now. Honestly,
that's remarkable, isn't it?
No get outs. No. If I've got to go tonight to Paris or whatever, then yeah, Manchester. I'll set off now and I'll jump on a plane to Paris and I'll enjoy it. That's the main thing. Unbelievably, I will enjoy that plane.
What I love about your story. Well, it's great, you know. It's what I love about it is that you've just literally you've decided, and then you've put yourself up against it. You've got your plan, and you stuck to it. Nice and simple. So, thinking about what you've achieved, if you had to sort of lay it all out and say, right, if someone's feeling like you did after 20 odd years of not flying, what's your kind of wisdom that you'd like to pass on?
Well, like I say, the most important thing for me is remember everyone on that plane wants to go home to their family, and they do 3 times a week, twice a week, whatever it is. That pilot goes off to New York, stays there for a night or whatever, goes home, and he goes back to his family, and that's the real driver for me. And also, I would say to people, and this is something I did use, was join Flight Radar. You know, where you can see the flights, live flights. Because just take a look at Europe now. Join it now, take the free version or any other app that shows you the planes in the sky. Europe is just a wash of planes. There's thousands of them in the air now as we're speaking. And yet, how often do you hear one coming down? That's every minute of every day up until night time. So that's also been quite encouraging. When we were going over the Atlantic, I actually put on my flight radar on the Wi-Fi. I can't believe planes have Wi-Fi. That blew my mind as well. And there was just a trail of planes going to, and I was just one out of 20 or 30 planes that were going across the sea from Europe to America. And like, if it's like that all day long, and you never hear one coming down, it ain't coming down. It's as simple as that. Just
No, it's exceptionally rare anything happens, isn't it? And it's
yeah.
remarkable, really, isn't it? Really, when you think about it.
Unbelievable. It really is. But yeah, so when you put for some reason, I allowed the probabilities to be pushed under and the irrational fears to take over. And once I managed to flip that around so that the probabilities and the truth is at the top, and these irrational stuff are seen for being irrational, it did make it easier. But yeah, for me, it would be flight radar or a similar thing, just or some sort of way of seeing just how many planes are in the air, and the personal story behind every person who works on that plane 2 or 3 times a week over the Atlantic, and they've been the big things. And then arm yourself with what the noises really are, because one of the things I did notice in the course, it mentions about creaking, like cabin doors creaking, and especially while the plane's on the ground. And I have heard that so many times and not liked it. A rusty old Vauxhall, and you think, oh, this is not, this is old itself. But once it's explained, and I didn't even notice it going out. And I actually noticed that I hadn't noticed it. And when I listened, it was still there. Not as bad as the old rusty old Vauxhall, but, it was. So, yeah, arm yourself full of the technicalities, which is on the course, which is really good for that. Remember the personal. The people flying, they're doing it every day, it's their job. And you're just another number in the sky out of thousands all over the world at any time. So, and then once you've done it, don't think about it again. Just keep doing it. That's my plan now.
Yeah, I love it. That's brilliant. Absolutely brilliant, mate. And I'm just so grateful for you coming on and sharing your story. I thought when I saw you in the Facebook group and, it's like I did it, all that sort of stuff. I thought, you've got to get you on. I sent your message on to the some of the folks at Virgin and just said, look, this story is fantastic, and they loved it, so they're very grateful to receive it.
When I landed at JFK, I was like, I just couldn't. The first 24 hours I lost, I was there, and I'd done it. I'd say, and the wife would agree, it's probably the biggest thing I've ever done, because the feeling going to such a level, and it's not, like you say, it's not good. Well, it's not going to Gibraltar. This is it's a big long flight. So yeah, so I've got an immense sense of satisfaction, and also, yeah, it was good. But mate, I wouldn't do it with anyone else either. If it got to be, I want to go with something reputable, and so I know I'm getting the best of everything, because the chances of success seemed so slim. At the time of thinking I'm going to fly again, it really was a case of, yeah, who you kidding, mate? There's no way. So I thought, right, if I'm going to do it, I've got to look at what works. So that's why I sent the stuff in, for sort of, listen, if you can use anything off me, because there's going to be people who think, oh, I'm much worse than Lee was. Well, I tell you, you're not. I wouldn't fly for 19 years. You don't get much worse than that. So if I can, I know it's classic, if I can do it, anyone can, but it really is.
Yeah.
You just got to apply what you're learning, and be logical, be as logical as you can.
Yeah, and I think you've really demonstrated how, you have a really important reason to go, and then you stick at it like you've done, and you don't give yourself an out. And this is, and you're the proof, aren't you? This is fantastic.
That's the bottom line. Yeah, you're going, mate. I'm going. I can't get out of it. I've got to take my son. And I'll never go if I don't go now. I've got to go. And it's like, oh no, so I'm going to deal with this. And it doesn't, it makes it easier. Once you've set down your mind that you are going. So it could have been a holiday to Spain with the wife. But if I'd say, right, listen, I haven't been for 20 years. I'm missing out on so much. I am going on that holiday to Spain. It's the same thing, isn't it? You're going. So how am I going to sort that out? Right, I'll go and get on Lovefly or, and get it sorted. Yeah, brilliant, mate. Absolutely over the moon, delighted.
Well, you're a true gent and a real just hero. What you've managed to do and overcome, fantastic. And hopefully, people listen to this will think, I want a bit of Lee.
Mate, I can do it. Anyone can do it. I'm nothing special. I'm just a guy from Stoke who didn't like going on planes. There's nothing special about me. So if I can do it, I'm sure absolutely anybody can. Just got to stick with it. Got to just keep in mind. For me, it's keep that pilot picture in mind. He's going home to his kids. When you get on the plane, it all seems a bit what. Just tell yourself, no matter what I do, whether I worry or I don't, or I have a panic attack or I don't, I'm getting off this plane, whether I like it or not. I've got no option now. They will not let us go down. I'm getting off in New York, so I may as well sit here and enjoy it. I think whether it worked anyway. Might not be the best. You might not be able to put that in the program, but it did work.
No, I love that. It's pure. I love words like that, and I won't edit that out at all because it's perfect.
Yeah, brilliant, mate.
Thank you very much, Lee.
I hope it's all right for you, mate. More to the point. I hope it helps you to help other people. That's the important thing to me. And that was why I sent the message in, because it was a thank you, guys, and thank you messages can always be used somewhere, can't they? And so hopefully someone will, whatever bit is left of this, someone will see it, and it just might ring a chord. Just give them the 5% be short of. Just get on that plane. Once they've done it, great. Honestly, it's great. Can't wait. I'll stick it in the Facebook next time I'm in Manhattan.
I'll look out for that.
I need to thank you and your team as well, Paul, because without you, I wouldn't have been. Well, I'd never gone. So if you only get one of me every now and then, it's worth it for you. But there's got to be loads more. It's got to be worth your while. So keep good work, my old mate.
Thank you.
Thank you to your team as well.
Will do. No, thank you. And it's we do it because it's the stories that make it. And when I see people like yourself come on and tell their story, it's just massively motivating, and it's its own reward. So thank you.
My absolute pleasure, mate.
Thank you for listening to the Lovefly podcast. I hope you found it useful. Now, as always, if you need any extra help, please join our Lovefly Facebook group. You can also follow us on Instagram at loveflyhelp. And also, if you go to our website, which is lovefly.co.uk/shop, you can see other ways that you can get some help. Thanks for listening.